Smacking Off, a special election 2020 edition.
Welcome back to Smacking Off the podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden, joined with Doug Phillips, my co-host and producer.
I looped it, sorry.
Oh, well, okay, fair enough. Yeah, technical difficulties. This is our first broadcast using Discord. So we're going to see if the sound quality is
No, we're not on Discord.
Oh, we're not on Discord? Well, I just told a bold-faced lie.
Wait,
right
did you want to go with that narrative?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, we are on Discord.
We're on Discord. I thought we were on Discord. We're doing the Google Hangouts tonight.
Yep.
But, yeah. Normally this show is centered around college football. But there's been so much going on in the world today that we kind of skimmed right over the fact that we had a very controversial election, I might add. Very controversial.
And
it's still controversial.
Still, absolutely.
And to discuss some of that controversy, we brought our dear friend S.M. Gibson, who is a friend of the show and a personal friend of ours that we've known for years. SM actually does work with a lot of politicians. Does a lot of campaign work, graphic design, and things like that. Not necessarily, in support for him. They actually hire him to do graphic design work. So he's worked with a lot of different folks, and I'm rubbing shoulders with Joe Rogan on Twitter. What's that about, Scott?
Well, that's all kind of nonsense. I just sit in my corner.
How do we get in on some of that podcast money that Joe Rogan's got? Because that's a chunk.
Well, I tell you what, this is not me. This is very separate from me. But if anybody is interested in something vaguely relevant, they can check out McBader on Instagram. However, that's clearly not me. That's a whole different person altogether.
Altogether. Absolutely.
Yeah. Timothy McBader.
So what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to go ahead and get over this whole LSU Alabama thing real quick, or do you want to go jump straight into the meat of the podcast, which is this election that just happened? Last I heard, Joe Biden's the president now. Is that official yet, or?
Okay.
You sound agitated about what I just said.
No, he's not. Okay, here we go. First off, I want to go ahead and thank y'all both so sincerely, because I have held this in for days, and I've needed to get this out.
Your wife told you to do this, didn't she? She's like, you need to go find some kind of outlet and get out of my hair for a minute with this.
But even she doesn't know the level that I'm ready to explode. And I thank you so much for your hospitality and just the genius of you having this podcast. And yes, Joe Biden has gotten in the way of football games this weekend because apparently there's COVID. Yeah, whatever.
Dude, so we're still blaming the COVID on Joe Biden now, or wait a minute.
It's a 28-point line. It really doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah, that's more like the Ebola. Yeah.
If it was a 6-point line, I would be like, let's talk about Alabama LSU. It's a 28-point line.
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about there. That's a dry socket. Yeah.
Right. Okay. It's the most ridiculous rigged thing. Bin Laden with Obama. We never saw pictures. We never saw anything. 9/11. There's no plane at the Pentagon. This is the most absurd thing I've literally ever seen.
Back up. Now you can't just throw a blanket statement out there like saying that Bin Laden was not killed by those brave Navy SEALs under Barack Obama.
Maybe he was, but I didn't.
And buried at sea.
There's no proof of it.
No, there's not. I mean, I saw a grainy photograph, and I saw a guy that kind of looked like,
I saw the back of the guy's head.
They dropped him in the fucking ocean. Had they killed him, they would have wanted to prove it.
Absolutely. There would have been pictures. There would have been a video. There would have been marching in the streets. There would have been a confetti ticker tape parade. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're
He'd
at
been dead for
historic
so
levels.
long.
We're at historic levels. This is. I cannot stress to people. I don't give a crap if Donald Trump wins. It has nothing. My goal going into this election is Biden wins by a landslide, Trump wins by a landslide. That's not what happened. And it's kind of what we all thought in the back of our head. We got this. I think actually Trump did win in a landslide. I really kind of did. And they rigged it on the sloppiest of levels. That doesn't mean I'm some MAGA person. I don't care. He's a carnival.
You sounded
barker.
like Donald just now.
He did.
When he
Good.
said, "I don't
good.
care." Yeah.
I don't care.
Yes. But anyway.
I love that.
He's
I
a-
love when he gets off in that
Scott-
mode in interviews. It's awesome.
So I just want to say this, SM. I agree with you. I've watched elections before. They're interesting. They're
all rigged, by the way, Doug.
They
We've
are,
talked
yeah.
about this in the past.
I think
they're all rigged.
now. I think that in 2016, I think the Democrats cheated their ass off then, and
They screwed Bernie. Bernie won.
Well-
By the way, Bernie won this time too.
yeah, I mean, if you want to get down to it, because there was a lot of things that Bernie preached about that suddenly got quietly picked up by the DNC. And I don't know if y'all paid much attention to after Biden won the presidency, but some
but see,
no,
Biden
no,
hasn't
don't
won the
say that.
presidency.
well,
That's,
No, don't say that.
announced that he's won the presidency.
yeah,
I mean,
and they're rushing to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
The same thing happened in 2000, and nobody declared a winner until December.
Yeah.
Okay, let me throw this out there real quick just to go ahead and lay the base of this conversation. The GSE, which is the General Service, I don't know. I'm an idiot, but it's. Anyways, the election has not been called in any way, shape, or form. The governmental organization that takes care of the transition from one presidency to the next.
Yep.
The Biden people are pushing them to go ahead and let's do it. Let's do this transition. They're like, well, the election hasn't been called, so we can't do that. We have to have a constitutional winner. So everything that's on TV, everything,
It's fake.
as usual, other than than maybe Tucker Carlson, is a lie. Everything.
Tucker Carlson's about to get fired.
Yes, he is about to get fired because he's probably the only person on TV being like, the election hasn't been called. And it hasn't. Legally, the election has not been called at all in any way, shape, or form. That's why he's not having a transition team.
Can I ask a question? In your opinion, do you think that what they're trying to do is to get Trump to concede so that they don't have to fight these legal battles?
They know better than that. If they don't know better than that, then
You mean they know better that Donald Trump is hard headed as fuck and egotistical as fuck?
he ain't conceding. But here's the thing that really aggravates me. There's actual evidence of voter fraud. Shannon, of all people, you can attest to this. I was drugged into this personally. Trump, Russia, for 4 years. Trump and Russia with no evidence.
I did
And
see
yet
I
we
did see a
reported
picture
about
of.
it nonstop.
Hold
Now,
up,
wait
hold
a
up. There
minute.
was evidence. I seen a picture of Trump riding on the back of a horse with a.
Now,
I
wait a
forgot
minute.
about
Now, to be fair, now there were people indicted about it. I believe that there's still some
That had nothing to do with
Russian
it, by the way.
nationalists that are still wanted by the United States for their role in their hashtag collusion.
You do realize that Biden has already broken the law, according to his spokespeople, in the same way Michael Flynn did by talking to foreign leaders. And
Well,
he hasn't been
can we
declared the leader.
rewind?
By
For,
it's called the Logan Act.
well, can we rewind just for half a second though, because I don't want to skim over the Russian thing, and also because you personally got swept up in it. One of the entities that you work for. A very popular website got pretty much branded as hashtag fake news in a very nefarious way. I mean, we could go on. We could do 4 podcast episodes.
But you do
about
realize that there's
what went down minute by minute there, and it was fucked up.
But
It was
at the end of the
bad.
day, the Washington Post.
Yeah.
It was the Washington
I want to throw this out there. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I could go. I can't stand mainstream media, and I haven't been able to stand them for years. you can't find alternative media anymore. There is none.
It's much harder to find. It's been pushed down, particularly any alternative media sites that are trying to use the social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, but the point I was trying to make though is that not only was there, nobody's been able to find any kind of smoking gun that Trump had something to do with Russian influence or this, that, and the other. But let's be fair. That Russian influence came because Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of the State, tried to interfere with Russia's election back in 2013, I believe it was. And got caught red-handed doing it, and that's when the tensions between the United States and Russia, which had actually kind of started warming up a little bit, suddenly completely broke in half. And it's been an uphill climb to try to bridge that gap. And there are a segment of Americans that believe that no, Russia's still the enemy. I think a lot of holdovers from the nuclear family days of 1980 and waiting for the bomb to drop at any moment for Gorbachev just to completely lose his mind. I remember growing up
right now. But listen, what you just said leads into this perfectly. First off, they said prior to the election that Iran was trying to influence the election for Trump, right? Iran, of all people.
Yeah.
Okay. So much info I'm about to just spew out. Hang on. Do you realize that the number one country in the world that has the highest approval rating of Trump is Israel? The lowest approval rating of any country in the world is Russia. Russia and Iran are closely tied because of their alliance, basically due to oil but other resources, but mainly oil. They have a close alliance. They were saying prior to the election that Iran was trying to influence the election for Trump, which is ridiculous. And since Biden got elected, Iran has come out and celebrated, and they're thankful that Biden got elected. They're also saying they hope they can reconvene the nuclear deal that Obama did, and they're very grateful. Russia's ally, everybody's grateful that Obama's out. None of this is being spoken.
You mean
about.
that Donald's out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That Trump
they're glad that he's out. Iran's happy that he's out, but they were said a week ago, a week and a half ago at this point, they were Russia or Iran wanted Trump in, which makes zero sense. And now today it was reported that before Trump leaves office, which guess what? Don't hold your breath on that one. But before he leaves office, he's going to impose all these extra sanctions on Iran.
Well, hey, let's expand on what you just said. Don't hold our breaths. Do you mean that he's going to defy leaving office, or do you think that?
It's the most rigged.
He's not going to do that.
It's not that it's rigged. They're all rigged. Okay, this is the difference with this and past elections.
Okay.
And I know people think I'm a nut job. Do not care. All elections are rigged on one level or another.
Yeah, I totally agree.
This is the sloppiest thing I have ever seen in my life. It's very feasible they might get caught.
They're still counting in some states, which just blows my fucking mind. This sounds.
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, I understand there's a lot of votes that need to be counted, and there's the mail-in ballots or whatever, this, that, and the other. But I mean, I think all the mail-in ballots should have already been in by now. Right?
Shannon knows.
It looks like to me. It looks like they're just trying to buy time.
They are. Now Shannon knows. He knew me prior. We did a radio show prior to Trump being elected the first time.
Yep.
He knows when I draw a line, I draw a line. Now let me say this. I do not know what the outcome's going to be. It is very possible that Kamala Harris ends up becoming the president because Joe Biden, who knows what he's going to be.
Well, can I say this though really quickly? In 2016, I honestly believe that was probably one of the more honest elections that we've seen. Honest general election. Not only that, but the Democrats got caught red-handed, pretty much rigging their own contest.
It's important, and I want
Clinton.
you to say this, Shannon. It's important for this conversation to know where I came from at that point. What did I tell you? You were there with me on election night. What did I tell you? Everybody, what was going to happen?
It happened.
Right. So what I'm saying right now, and I think everything is a gray area, and I know nothing. I'm not an intellect. I have no inside info. I'm a moron. That's important. But when I say something and I draw the line, I've never not been right. The election was rigged, 1,000,000%. Does that mean the results of the election will change? No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean it at all. We don't know what's going to happen. We have to wait and see. But
Now,
I'm
when you
telling
say it was rigged,
everybody,
though, exactly how or what leads you to believe that it's rigged? Because so far, and there's not really been much investigation going into it. You know, we do have situations where, as these votes are being counted, there's representatives of both parties there.
That, actually, that's in Pennsylvania. That's totally false. They
Yeah,
they were
it's
actually
totally-
thrown out. They were
Doug,
actually thrown
go
out.
ahead, Doug.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Well, see, and I don't. You know, y'all have to.
SM, you probably know more about this than I do.
Yeah, y'all have to realize I'm probably the least informed about this whole entire election because y'all know where I stand politically. I just, kind of.
Okay, well, my mind exploded. First off, the most important thing and the biggest deal with the rigging is the computers. Okay, so I kind of they if you look at election night, 3 or 4 in the morning, Trump was up big in all these states, and all these votes got dumped in Michigan and Pennsylvania and Georgia. At like 3 or 4 in the morning, like 140, 50,000 votes, whatever they were, roundabout.
Yep.
Got dropped down. And I was like, that's stupid. Why would you do that? This was me thinking at the time.
I never seen them stop counting like they did. They just stopped.
Yeah.
They sent everybody home. I've never seen that happen.
100%. So this is why I put it together, but I'm coming at you when I was the most confused. Is why would they do that? Because that doesn't make sense. Because what people need to know, and there's a documentary out there, it's called Hacking Democracy. Please look it up, and please look up that documentary versus the results of this election and computer. They can screw with anything they want. And I was like, why were they dropping these ballots down? It doesn't make sense because you can rig an election way easier. And then it clicked with me. They dropped the ballots down because if you go to a hand vote and you compare what's in the computer versus the hand counts, they're going to be drastically different, right?
Yep.
So if you drop down these ballots that are 150,000 over 4 swing states that are just check Joe Biden, 150,000 people that were dropped down at 3 or 4 in the morning, just check Joe Biden. By the way, there's all kind of candidates on these ballots, right? They didn't check any of them. Just Biden, check, go. Biden, check, go. The reason that is, if it does go to a hand count, it will match up with the computer better because it's easy to rig the computer. That's maybe a 3 to 4 minute process at that, if that. But if it goes to a hand count, you have this as your backup. But they did it so sloppily. They didn't go down the ballot. They didn't check the other candidates. You look at in Michigan
Because they needed
example,
massive numbers.
right?
Yeah, but I mean,
And
at the same time, what's to say that you didn't have a bunch of people that would normally never vote? Because you did have a record number for both candidates.
You did, and they both supposedly got the biggest votes ever. But however,
I will make this supposition though. I mean, we are in the age of COVID, so that's going to have a lot of. You're particularly more lefter leaning people, the people that were,
the people that
pretty
were
quick to
the
mask
people
up
that were out in the street yesterday.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I mean,
They were so scared, right?
Here's another thing that now SM may know more about this as well. Biden underperformed in the big blue cities, New York, all except for the swing states. The big cities and the swing states, he trended way up, but only right at the end of the election.
Here's a fact.
But he
Biden
underperformed in the other cities.
This is exactly taking off of what you just said, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden got more votes than Hillary Clinton, and Barack Obama.
Yep. In the swing state cities.
4 states.
Yep.
In only 4 states.
But in New York, in the really big places
Yeah.
that go blue, that they didn't need any extra
in
votes,
which 4 states
he
did he get them?
underperformed.
It was the one that halted their counting, and they had to think about it for a few days. That's it. He didn't outperform Obama.
I've never seen anything as obvious as this as it unfolded, and
It's
I just
the
like
most
I'm like
legitimately obvious.
I've
thing
been
I've ever
preaching
seen.
for years. Stop voting to people, and I mean, really, if you're a person that thinks that we could send a bigger message by not voting, you don't have a better tool than this year's election. You don't.
He outperformed Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton in 4 states. And what 4 states were they? The 4 that stopped their counting.
Right.
And the 4 that have taken a week to count.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. That's literally what happened. It's a joke. This is the most obvious thing I have ever seen.
But you have to understand now how corrupt is our judiciary? How anti-Trump is it? And is there any chance in hell that these states get the votes need to be audited, not recounted, but audited?
Agreed, 1,000,000% audited. But I don't
see it happening.
If
Yeah,
there's
but, I
Trump
mean, look,
supporters
look,
out
look.
there, don't get too excited, because I am telling you right now, your candidate won by a lot, and they screwed him. But don't get too excited.
But look,
because
y'all, just let's take this down just half a notch, just for a quick second, because first off, why are they doing this? Because Trump is not controllable, or he's an outsider, or whatever the case may be. Okay, that's fine.
I think I know what it really is, Shannon. And I'm going to say this, and then you continue.
Go ahead.
I think with the majority of candidates, not to say Trump hasn't done it, this isn't a defense of Trump, but I think with most big candidates, we just went through this Epstein thing. There's probably a video of whatever candidate you want having sex with a kid somewhere.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah.
And they are totally controlled, and you can do what they want with them.
Oh yeah.
Trump
They
came
love
from the
people with skeletons in
outside.
their closets.
Trump came from the outside, and maybe or may not, but I don't know. This is not passing judgment, but he didn't come through the system,
Right.
per se.
And he's not on board whatsoever with globalization at all.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
And we all know that globalization has been a very important.
Well, that's the way the bankers are. They really want to be more efficient in fucking us, and that's the way they're going to do
How
it.
y'all feel about this digital dollar that they unrolled in the middle of COVID?
I haven't heard nothing about that.
Excuse me?
What did
You didn't see the pictures of Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi
tugging on a digital dollar?
hand in hand, raising their hands about them signing the first stimulus relief package. That stimulus relief package also had a lot of language in it that was unrolling and unveiling the new digital dollar. And shortly after they unveiled the digital dollar, we suddenly ran out of change at all the grocery stores.
That's a shame.
Where were y'all when this happened?
I know about the change thing.
I know. I know
Yeah,
about
and this is why
everything
the
you're
change thing
saying.
happened, because what they're doing is they're quietly pulling the change away. Then it'll be $1 bills, it'll be $2 bills, $5 bills, so on and so forth, until we get rid of all currency altogether, get everybody lined up in there. Now, that also ends all black market trade, all of your various, sex trades and things like that, some of your more nefarious things. However, it also ends, well, I don't know, you casually paying your little neighborhood kid $20.
It also
That $20 now is taxable income.
It also ends any kind of way of dodging taxes.
Absolutely.
Oh, actually, here's something that's real important to this conversation. Real important. If you go to Instagram /McDater, you'll see in the beginning of 2019, there was a prediction that Kamala Harris was going to become president. There's a reason for that. She, by the way, Kamala Harris, got 0 delegates as she ran for president. 0. Tulsi Gabbard is the first candidate ever to get delegates and not be allowed to speak at the Democratic National Convention.
I remember that. I remember that well. I like Tulsi.
Right. So what's important about this? Tulsi Gabbard said that Obama was funding terrorists, which is true.
True.
Not only did she do that, she got on stage with Kamala Harris and said, "You're a fucking cunt, and you've been locking a bunch of people up in jail, and we all know about it."
Yeah.
She called her out, and she couldn't respond other than her stupid fucking cackle. Right? That's all she did. And yeah, she got nominated as vice president. She's always been in, and this is why I say go to the McDater. She's been in line to become the president the whole time. Joe Biden is 77 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He is demented, and I don't mean that as some derogatory.
So do you
term.
think? What do you think is going to happen if he goes ahead and takes possession of the White House? Do you see them going after him for being unfit?
I see a pillow getting put over his face.
Oh.
Is what I see.
Wet works.
Yeah, he's gone.
Hell,
Joe
what was the
Biden-
name of that justice?
Justice
Which one?
Scalia.
Scalia. Yeah, he was chief too, wasn't he?
Oh yes, sir. I
Yes,
think
sir.
yeah, in that cabin.
In the infamous WikiLeaks Hillary Clinton emails.
Yeah, that
there
was in a cabin. Yeah,
an
absolutely
exchange
did happen.
between Podesta and Clinton, and they referred to his death, which was listed as natural causes, as
Yeah, but
wet
that-
works.
Yeah,
Wet
but they didn't
works.
allow any. They didn't allow an autopsy or anything. It just chucked
Good
him in the
call,
ground.
Doug. I forgot all.
Wet
about
wet
that,
works
but yeah.
wet works is a CIA term that
Yep.
they use for just quietly assassinating someone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biden's done. Like Biden's not the president. I hope everybody's aware of that. Like this has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It's about getting that kind of office.
So what
And
are we
I-
going to see for the next month or two? I mean, you
I
got
hate
any
to
kind of
say-
insight?
I hate people are. Here's the thing that I've especially been reintegrated with in the past few days. Shannon, of all people, knows this. Doug, you know this as well. I realize why I don't have friends because I literally 2 days ago I was walking through the mall with a person that's actually in America a famous person. Okay, I
Mhm.
won't go any deeper than that.
Mhm.
They're very successful. I made friends with that person, and I realized at the end of my conversation, sober as a judge, I had offended this person because I just assume calling everyone that believes politics is real and calling them a mark. I thought that was the move because I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't think it was accepted very well.
He was a mark, wasn't he?
Yep.
I think so.
Yikes.
That this
Yikes.
person congratulated Joe Biden after the win they won,
Mhm.
quote unquote won. I kind of feel bad about that, but
No, but to be fair, I referenced Scott rubbing shoulders with Joe Rogan earlier, and that's not who we're talking about here.
No.
that is not. Trust me, no. That is not what we're talking about.
If you
At
watch
all.
any of his podcasts, you probably already do that. So.
No. We're not discussing Joe Rogan, and the only reason I'm not saying names is I don't want to throw anybody in the bus.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, Scott rubs shoulders with famous people all the time. He's
Well, it's a new
it's
thing,
uncanny.
but-
It's not a new thing at all. Are you serious?
But whatever.
Let me tell you a quick story. Scott lived in Seattle for a little while, and we went to a coffee house, some little nondescript coffee house there in the city, and met his drummer, who was she actually played for a lot of different bands there in town for years, so she knew everybody. We're talking about Seattle now, you know. So we go to this coffee shop, and there's this guy. There's a big old lumbering guy that's dressed like Seattle. He's Seattle man, and has this big trench coat looking thing on, and just
I
kinda
know where you're going, and that was a
plops
coincidence. That
plops
wasn't-
down, and kind of has his arms folded, like and he was there because he recognized SM's drummer. And we just strike up this conversation. It's just like this nondescript conversation. He hears the southern accent, so he, hey, where you from? And yeah, I've been down that way before. And we just chit chat. And I don't know this guy from Adam. He announces himself as Ben. Okay, so I'm just sitting there talking with Ben. Meanwhile, SM's over like next to me with his jaw hanging open. You're not really saying a word. At all.
I didn't know who he was either. Star told me later. I didn't know who he was.
Well, no, y'all told me this as he was walking down the street.
She told me.
I thought you
She
already
told
knew.
me. I
Okay.
had no idea who that dude was.
I thought you knew. But anyway, so we're sitting there having this conversation and this, that, and the other. The guy gets up and he lumbers down the street, and we're kind of lagging behind him because we got some other stuff going on, and he just disappears. And SM just tugs my shoulder and says, "Hey, you know how that was, right?" And I said, "Yeah, Ben. Who the fuck is Ben?"
I was the same.
Ben Shepherd, the bass player for Soundgarden. Yeah. And I sat and had this long conversation with him about absolutely nothing, just a very Seinfeld-esque moment, and he just disappears. And yeah, I mean, because I saw them play in 1994 at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, and to this day, it's still one of my favorite shows ever. I mean, Super Unknown Tour, Reverend Horton Heat opened up for it. Man, that was such
the
a
only
fucking
difference
great show.
with that and my interaction this past week is I don't have guilt for that interaction, and I do because like sweetheart of a guy, sweetheart. Oh no, it's a man. That's out in the open, but
Yeah.
sweetheart of a guy. But I just look. I tell people I got banned off the internet. I tell people why I got banned off the internet. I think some of that may make them feel uncomfortable. And then I tell people that I think Biden's a joke. Okay, first, let me throw this out there. The same people that are in the streets, right, for celebrating Joe Biden's victory,
Yeah.
are the same people that were in the streets 2 months ago wanting criminal justice reform, which is the if you kind of boil it down, they're saying defund the cops or just saying whatever they're saying, crazy shit.
Yeah.
But it's all down to defund the cops, which is criminal justice reform. Criminal justice reform. What are you having criminal justice reform from? Joe Biden's 94 bill, which is literally called the Biden bill. So the same people that are in the streets saying we don't like all this systematic racism, they're in the same people are in the same street celebrating the man that gave it to them.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
That's government, baby. And you know
Well-
that's why I've completely checked out of all things government for quite some time now, and I'm gonna tell you what, I stopped watching broadcast television except for college football games. That is the only broadcast TV stuff that I watch. Anything else I watch is internet.
I've
TV.
watched more in the last few days than I have in like since before
I
2000.
can't watch it.
It's hard.
I can't watch it.
It's hard, and I mean, the first thing that I notice is that as far as Trump goes and the GOP is that Fox, they've tried to act like they're as pro-Trump as they can be or whatever, but
No, they don't.
No, they're the propaganda wing for
mean-
the Republican Party. And let me
They're
tell
the
y'all.
real
Let me remind
Republican
y'all
Party.
something real quick. In 2015, when Trump first announced he was running, every single Republican all across the board wanted nothing to do with him.
Yep.
Nothing to do with him.
yeah, I know.
And then he started actually polling at high numbers. He actually started.
Well, he slaughtered the whole field in the debates.
Oh man, that was so great to watch.
And in fairness, Jeff
Brag
Sessions
about-
was the first person that jumped on board.
Yeah.
He was the first
Yeah.
Republican that's like, I see where this is going.
And he was one of the first ones that Trump turned on too,
Yep.
in a heartbeat.
Or he.
And I mean, he turned on him so bad that Jeff Sessions was completely cut out of this Senate race altogether. He didn't even make it to the runoff. He wasn't for Jeff Sessions to run in Alabama and not be the actual front runner is a testament to how powerful Trump's reach is as far as his base goes. And Alabama's very, very, very
he
red
lost
state.
4 states at 3 in the morning. Didn't you hear?
Yep.
And it took
SM.
4 days to count.
I definitely want to get your insight on where do you think this is going? This is going to be some interesting shit.
Yeah, I want to know what's the end game here. I mean, Biden gets pushed into office.
Give us
great.
some
You know,
odds.
what's
Good. Okay.
does Biden get
This
pushed
is-
into office?
This is where I'm at.
We need Justin Pike.
I
right
have
now.
a fear.
Justin Pike could give us
Real
odds.
quick, I just want to throw this out there before you get started, just in case. you may agree and you may not. I have a fear because, like you said, it was so blatantly obvious. I have a fear that the establishment may be looking for this to get overturned, as to create a civil war.
Okay, maybe.
That's my fear.
Maybe.
So,
But
so wait a minute. So your supposition is for what? For what to be overturned? For the Biden presidency to be overturned?
I think if it goes through court and they throw a bunch of votes out and Trump ends up actually winning this, I think it would cause a civil war.
oh no,
Maybe.
it would. You're right about that. I don't think that's the intention. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
If you asked the average Anderson Cooper observer, was there a plane that hit the Pentagon? What would they say?
Yes.
A
If you
plane,
ask
a
the
plane hit the
average-
Pentagon right in the accounting office too, where they just happened
Right.
to lose a couple $1 trillion the day
Right in the
before.
puppet hole.
Yeah.
If you ask the average Don Lemon observer, did Barack Obama have Osama bin Laden killed? What would they say?
Zero Dark 30, absolutely he did.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They even seen the movies.
They won awards. Hey, that movie won
So-
awards, man.
What we're doing right now is not some fact. We're not playing 3D chess. Like, I think people are so smart.
You mean
to
4D
overthink it,
chess.
is what you just did, Doug. Like, I think you're so smart. You're trying to overdo it. No, that's not what's happening. They're ramming Biden through 1,000,000%. But it was done so sloppily, it could change. If you put a gun to my head, I don't know, man. I don't know who's going to end up. Going into the election, this is what I said. I said it's going to be close, and they're going to screw around for 2 months, and at the end of it, when the person puts their hand on the Bible, it's going to be Trump. And I kind of knew going in it was going to be something crazy. I didn't really expect, which was my own ignorance. Shannon knows this is my own ignorance because I know what the media is capable of. That they would really, really, really double down on Biden like that.
Well, and you
Maybe.
know, because they lost, they did this with the Clinton Trump contest, and the media lost. The media
Well, they
lost big.
But they're not even. There's no gray area with this.
So
if
I want to
you-
say that there's been 4 years of the media basically making up some ground. You know, particularly in the last year. Trump could do nothing right as far as the media was concerned, even Fox News. So I mean, you know, you could see the fix was in early on.
You could. My brain tells me that at the end of this, the Biden administration, and I say administration, that's an important word because I really don't think he's going to live long. My brain tells me at the end of this, the Democrats will be in charge. My gut tells me, no, this ain't over. And
Well, no, they won't be in charge because the Republicans are still going to hold the Senate, correct?
Now, hold on now.
I'm talking about the executive. I'm not talking about.
Actually, it's not
But you
a
know,
foregone
look.
conclusion that the Republicans are
Look,
going to
though,
control the Senate.
guys.
There's actually 2 races that are going to
power?
runoffs.
What power does that office still hold?
Which office?
What you
The
don't
one we're talking about, the
presidency?
big chair.
I mean, it's
Well, Shannon,
A lot of trivial
you
shit.
literally heard me coin this term, and I haven't said it in years. But the first 2 letters of the word presidency are PR for a reason. That's what power it holds. It's a PR job.
But that's the only power it holds. It's only a personal power. I mean, you know, president
But they don't.
president
like him
can't just
because
go
they don't
over,
have
make
him
up
on-
their mind these days and go over
They
and push the
don't
button
have
and let
him
off a
on
nuclear
video
weapon without
at
giving
an
them some kind of
island having
recourse.
sex with a kid.
I mean,
I guess. What do I know? I'm an idiot.
So I mean, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the fix wasn't in because y'all know how I really honestly believe that Hillary Clinton was going to win in 2016 because I believe the fix was in for her to win.
I think the fix was in.
No,
I just don't think they pulled it off.
No, they
I
didn't pull it
told
off,
you,
and that's
but
what
I
I'm saying.
told you the fix was in
2016
because
wasn't.
the power players were against her. Okay.
And Trump
Here's
seemed
the-
like he was going to play ball going
It was
into
it was a
you know?
measurement. 16 was a measurement of what they would need to do in 20.
Yeah.
Here was my biggest prediction of this election. I thought going into the election, 1,000,000%. I've said it to multiple people. I thought the Democratic Party was going to rig it for Joe Biden, and I thought the Mossad and Israel was going to re-rig it for Trump.
Yeah, because we all know that Jeffrey Epstein was a operative for Mossad, and that's not some of that deep state conspiracy shit. That actually came out through mainstream media.
Like what I'm saying, is
anybody can go investigate that.
Like the Q shit is stupid, and those people are morons.
It is. I think most of it's psyop shit, anyways, coming straight from the United States government. But
I think Q is a psyop because we're talking. Why are we busy talking about Tom Hanks and Ellen and Oprah when there's real people in real positions of power doing shit?
Oprah. Oh man.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Right.
Tom Hanks got the COVID. Now he's spreading 5G all over the world now.
I
Him
think
and his wife.
Mossad has a very foreign influence that is not seen in this country. Well, it is seen, but they don't know it because people are marks.
There you go again with that Mark bullshit.
But did you realize that Netanyahu came out pretty quick and congratulated Biden?
Yeah.
Which that threw me. That threw my whole everything off.
It don't matter who's up there. He's going to congratulate every single one of them as long as they're.
Saudi Arabia didn't. A lot of people did.
No, they will eventually. He'll be dancing with Saudi Arabian sultans in no time.
I'm with you, but maybe.
There won't be a lot of spring in his step, but he will be dancing, sort of.
SM, do you expect us to end up in the Supreme Court?
Yes.
That's going to be interesting. Supreme Court's not going to want to hear a bunch of, well, this happened over here and this happened over here. They're going to want to hear one unified theory of how this went down. They're going to want to hear something very narrow. They're not going to want to hear a broad story about how.
And here's the thing, y'all. If the fix is in, then we already know how this is going to work out.
Well, true, but
if the fix is in at this broad of a scale.
But that's the thing. That's why
we're not just talking about votes and this, that, and the other now.
That's why I'm so confused about this, Shannon, because my brain tells me I know how things work, and Biden's gonna at least the Democrats will end up winning this.
If you've seen the lower court rulings that have already taken place, and I mean no sooner than the lawsuits were, then you already kind of get a sense that's I don't even know if it's going to make it to the Supreme Court because most of the lower court rulings are pretty ironclad using the loopholes that they've written into state law years ago.
This 1,000,000% of the Supreme Court, 1,000,000%. We have till December the 14th. By the way, every American get prepared.
That'll be a hell of a show. No two ways around it.
Yeah, everybody that thinks this election is over, talk to me December 15th. Yeah. And at that point, if they declare the Democrats winner, then that's that. But nobody of relevance that can actually call an election has called this election.
Oh, I agree.
Just the media. Mm-hmm. So nothing has actually happened of substance yet.
Yeah, that. I mean, seriously though, there has not been any. I guess officiating body has come up with one tally or the other.
The media has declared,
and the media is all over the place in their declarations too. You have some that are saying that we're still at 254, 219.
Real Clear Politics. I know that story went around yesterday.
Yeah, that's one that popped around. But I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That there's AP already has they were the first ones to give him. Which one was it? Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
No, Michigan. I
Okay.
think it was Michigan before Michigan was actually.
So if
But
it-
it's not true.
decided.
If it's what you say, and you say you think Trump won in a landslide,
I think he won. I won't,
Okay.
I won't say
Okay.
in a clear
Okay,
landslide.
so-
I don't think there was a landslide either way.
Well,
I
you won,
really
I
don't.
mean, there's
you
no way
won.
to know that, but
True.
but at the I mean, it's really not important. Is the system, is the establishment going to feel any pressure to try to make this election look more legitimate than it does today? Because
They have to.
I mean,
They're,
so they're going to have to examine these
No, they
votes.
don't.
they do.
They
They
do
have to
not
because
have. They do not have to. And people can run out in the streets and yell all they want to. And you know what? There's not a fucking thing they can do about
They're
it.
stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. But here's, but how dare
But here's
the
the
same
thing that
people-
the establishment does know, though, is that the people, when the people rise up, they're going down. They
How
know
gonna-
that.
How they gonna rise up?
No, they don't think that.
How they gonna
No.
rise up?
How are the
Dog, they
people going to
don't
rise
think
up?
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna give away all their free cable
Dog, they
TV.
don't
and
Oh,
the
think
you're
food
talking about those
stamps
people.
and-
No, those people.
I'm talking
won't.
about everybody. I'm talking about everybody.
It wouldn't take everybody.
Trust me. I know the page you're reading from. I get it, dude. I totally get it. They don't think that is an option. Because when the left rises up, we've seen the left rise up,
Yep.
right?
Yes, we have.
And it's a bunch of 20-year-old kids that can't spell, and they get in the streets and they just kind of do what they told.
Right.
The biggest fear is the right getting in the street, because when they get in the street, there's going to be guns.
Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. that was perfect timing.
It was. And when there's guns in the street, it's going to get sour for people.
Yep.
However, I will tell you this. If you were supposedly some Second Amendment, "Oh, I've got my gun next to me in case the government infringes on me. Well, what are you waiting on? You've been infringed upon.
Absolutely, we all have.
Like, what are you waiting on? What do you have your gun for? Like, to me, at this point, if things carry out the way they've been, I don't give a crap if they get rid of the Second Amendment. I don't. And the reason why I think that is because the people that say they need it for a reason didn't use it when they had the opportunity. The government's tread on them.
Right.
You've been tread upon. Like, it's over. You have lost. And if you in this moment cannot stand up with all this rhetoric you talked about and do something about it, you're a loser. You're a weakling. You're a pussy. That's where I'm at. Like, I mean, people are weak.
Oh, no doubt.
Nothing they think they believe in is true. And they're cowards, and they do not deserve to have a gun. They don't deserve to have the Second Amendment. They don't deserve to have the Constitution, because not only first off, the Constitution hasn't. The country was overthrown in '63. They're spitting in your face at this point. And if you're gonna take it while they spit in your face, just bend down and take it. Just take it.
Yeah.
What do
So,
I know? I'm a moron.
Do you
You painted us into a corner, Scotty.
do you have a gun, Scotty?
If I did, then there's a lot of people that wouldn't be breathing right now.
My dad keeps trying to sell me an AR-15.
You don't need it, neither do I.
Why not? I got to shoot it the other day. It was
It's
amazing.
not
I
good.
loved
It's
it.
not good. You don't need a gun.
Oh man, it's
No.
amazing. No, have you ever shot an AR-15? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, but you don't need it.
Yeah, it's fun stuff, and I do need it. It's got a laser scope.
What are you gonna use it for?
I can for shooting people. I mean, not like random people. These would be people that are aggressing upon my.
Well,
on
the
that.
people that
Well,
have
hold on now.
aggressed upon you,
You'll go to jail for that. That happened in Missouri.
I mean,
listen, the people
I'd
that are
shoot them too and
aggressing
just go
upon
down to the
you-
blaze of glory.
Shot
down in a blaze of glory. That's a great song.
The people that are aggressing on you, there's people way bigger than us that are bigger gun nuts than us that aren't going to do shit.
My
So,
dad
no,
is. He's trying to sell me one of them. He's got an
Nah.
AR-10 too. Have you ever shot an
Oh.
AR-10?
Instead
Oh
of
my God! It's
defeating-
like it's seriously.
I've
It's like shooting a 12 gauge.
I've never shot a. I've shot a semi-auto rifle.
AK or something like that, maybe.
Something
Well,
like that.
I
And
can't
much
say
smaller.
this enough. I'm not going to be the person that does it, but good gosh, what a bunch of pussies. That's all I can say.
Lenny had a Uzi at one point in time. Remember? That
No.
Sid bought the other one, that Cobra Mac 11.
I got you.
Yeah.
But
story.
just in case the government infringes upon me, I'm going to shoot somebody.
All right. So let me get this
Yeah.
straight. This is going to be interesting. Trump could pull it off. You don't know. Biden probably. And
Brain says Biden, gut says Trump.
Yeah, I think they're gonna give it to Biden. I really do.
Brain, yeah,
If the
brain
fix
says
is
Biden.
in and they've gone this far with it, I mean, it's all but done by the paperwork.
But
now.
listen.
but the problem
listen,
is like he said, it was so
remember
sloppy.
this moment. My brain says Biden. My gut says Trump.
All right. So the battle is between Scotty's brain.
brain and his heart.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Is there any has SM painted us into a corner here?
And we can talk about LSU Alabama now and how that's not going to happen this year and how that kind of sucks because of the COVID.
Fuck Joe Biden for that one.
All right. So Bama's off again, second week in a row off, which is going to break our stride there.
Yeah.
A little bit. Got Kentucky coming down. Next
It'll be
week.
like we've been off for a whole
Got
season now.
Kentucky coming down next Saturday. So
That could be a somewhat interesting game.
I mean, they got a good defense, but their offense is
Yeah.
atrocious.
Yeah, they do.
Can we talk about that Mark Stoops is an actual good coach? And Jeremy, me living in Tennessee, Jeremy Pruitt, geez, what a disappointment.
Not as a defensive coordinator.
That's Tennessee. I mean, defensive coordinator. He's great.
Right now, we're clearing the way for him to rejoin the Alabama staff next
Yeah, I mean, we got a spot. We keep a spot open for him. We keep a spot open for any and all Tennessee head coaches. That would be the third that would
I
be
can
on
tell you
Saban's
right
staff.
now, Tennessee fans
Former head coaches of Tennessee.
are ready
That's awesome.
to get rid of him.
Yep, they are. I think they should go ahead and get rid of the Great Pumpkin first. That way, they'll have a competent person to hire the next coach.
Oh well, they love Fulmer, man. They're not getting rid of Fulmer.
How many
They
years?
think
How many
Fulmer's
years is
the
it going to
savior.
take? How many years is it going to take Hugh Freeze or not Hugh Freeze? Oops.
Ooh, he might be the-
Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. Hugh Freeze is. I think he's headed to Auburn.
He could be headed to Tennessee.
He could be.
He
What's your
ain't
thought?
going to Tennessee. They're too butthurt.
I think he would go to Auburn. I do. I think.
I think he would go to Tennessee, but they wouldn't have him. He would do it because it's hilarious.
Well, with the big old fit that they threw about the Shiano thing, which Shiano had nothing to do with the Sandusky
They would
incident.
never hire Lane. He would definitely go. But trust me, people in Tennessee don't get irony. And it would definitely be irony to rehire Lane.
No. I was talking about Hugh Freeze. No. There's no way in hell that Lane would even consider going back to Tennessee.
No,
Oh, hell
he
no.
would. He would do it. No, Lane Kiffin would do it.
You think he'd do it?
Yes, he would.
He's back
He
in
would
the
do it.
SEC. He can do pretty much anything that he can accomplish at Tennessee. I think he can accomplish with less. I might add at Ole Miss. Is that a fair statement? I think so.
He's got to get a defense. He's got to get a real defense.
Oh, don't think for a second he won't be recruiting the fuck out of a defense, and he is a hell
Well,
of
he
a
needs a
recruiter.
coordinator. That's his biggest
Yeah,
issue.
yeah. But he'll get it worked out, man. Hell, he just got there. He's already making waves in the SEC, and he just got there. He's doing better than Mike
Played a hell of a
Leach.
game against Bama.
He's doing way better than Mike Leach right now.
I mean, Clemson and Bama. I know Clemson just lost, but we know what they didn't have on the field. But Notre Dame's still look. If Bama plays Notre Dame, Bama's going to beat them by 80 touchdowns. And
80 touchdowns. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot of
80.
touchdowns. The 500.
Could you go with 100 touchdowns? That way I could do the math with easier in my head.
No,
Let's
100,
do it.
560.
700 points.
You're right.
700 points, 100 touchdowns. Are you happy?
There you go. Well, that's actually 600 points, and then you have to kick 100 extra points.
Which
for
we've
that.
got a
And
kicker that can do
Bama
that
would
now.
not do that. You're right.
And we
We got a good kicker now.
we got an offense too that they can get to every now and then. I mean, plus you got safeties you need to consider. I mean, then what about a field goal? I mean, we don't need to kick field goals,
Oh.
but
But let's talk about Clemson with their actual defense on the field and Trevor Lawrence. that never would have happened in a
Never,
million years.
never would have happened.
So-
There's no way that Clemson may have still got to 40 points, but there would have been no way in hell that that Notre Dame would have gotten more than 20, 25 or
Never. Not with the
30 or whatever it
defense
is.
players
How
they
that
have.
works out.
Before we go, SM, let me go ahead and plug Thursday's show. For our countdown, we've got Timothy Ray Bailey coming on with congratulations, you suck, and your team's sorry,
He sucks, and he sucks donkey balls,
Yes.
according to Justin Pike.
Yep. Your team sucks donkey balls. That's going to be our countdown. Our opening segment is going to be Nikki Mays.
Woo! Nikki's coming back on the show. I like Nikki. She's sassy.
Nikki Mays and Robert Arthur.
That's gonna be a good. That's gonna be a damn good
They're
segment.
going to be
right
discussing Arkansas and Florida.
there.
We've got the Guru battle. It's going to be Sean Devine and Dane M. Kelly. The only problem is Dane is not showing for this. He's actually got to work. He's sending audio and he's sending his pics.
Okay.
So I think that would be an interesting segment, especially if we can make a couple loops.
Because if I have to, I'll play Dane Kelly. I
You
can
will.
do that. Yeah.
right, and then of course we got Justin Pike possibly at the end of the segment if he's
Always.
not drunk.
Yeah. I mean, if he is drunk, he'll let us know.
Yep. All right, Scotty, you got any?
Any parting shots?
Oh, no, we're fucked. That's it.
We're fucked. We're all fucked. 2020.
Oh,
That's what I named the
I
segment.
want everybody to know, nobody else is going to see this other than you two. I got a Jay Cutler bobblehead this week, and that is more important than really anything.
I know where I can put my hands on a Dennis Francione bobblehead.
There it is.
Jay Cutler is way more important than
That
Jay
looks like
Francione.
Landon Beeman.
It
Holy
does, doesn't
shit.
it? God, it does.
Jay Cutler looks like Landon. Maybe
No,
you don't think
No.
you.
Nothing.
We don't know. We've never seen Landon Beeman in real life. That might be Landon
Look.
Beeman. Might be Jay Cutler.
Right there.
Hashtag fake profiles.
If I got that, if I could get this, I would grind that Jay Cutler off of there and put Landon Beeman.
Yeah,
in
I
the
would
middle.
too. Put some. I don't know. What is he? Some camo.
What are you asking for?
Yeah, he's a hunter guy.
What are you asking for, SM?
Oh, for Jay Cutler?
Yeah.
That's priceless. That's a priceless.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably 500K.
You can pick one of those up for $49.99.
All right, I'll go
I'm
ahead and
pretty
text
sure
you
you can.
500 Ks later.
Yeah.
That's 500
All right,
individual
that's
Ks.
fair. That's fair.
All right. All right, we'll do this again. Hey, next big break on this story. If something comes out like you say, we're going to have you come back on and
Yeah,
and
definitely.
tell us why you knew that and why we didn't.
Yeah, well, I didn't know anything, so don't get too excited.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what your head and your heart say, but what do your balls say?
This is a good way to end the show.
My balls
Roll
say
Tide.
it's over and just love your. This is what my balls say: love your family, love your children, love your kids, love your neighbors, and be good to the people around you.
Mhm.
And when people talk about politics, tell them it's over. And
How about you not talk about my children when you talk about your balls, please?
And hell, President Harris.
Oh no, I won't go there.
You're not going there.
Come on, man.
Hell, President. I said it.
Yeah, hail President
I mean, I
Harris.
didn't say it with any conviction.
Miss President. Would it be Miss or Mrs.? Is she married? She's married, isn't she?
Is it a presidentess? Come on,
Pre-
something.
I don't.
Do I have to remind you I have a Jay Cutler bobblehead and y'all are talking about deities of
Do you want a
President
Dennis
Harris?
Francione bobblehead? Because there's one at one of our supply houses, and I will sneak behind the counter and steal it for you.
I had one. I sold it for like $35.
This one
Guy
still
could not
has
find
somebody fashioned a noose around its head,
Yeah.
and that noose is still there to this day.
Needs to be.
Yeah, it's
Not only do I have a Jay Cutler bobblehead, I have Noel Gallagher's head outlined behind me. So that's how cool we are. We're 1996 in here.
you know,
That's
I watched the
how-
documentary, and I tried my damnedest and could not get into it. It seemed like a 2-hour commercial for Oasis instead of an actual
Oh,
documentary.
don't. That's another 2-hour show about how stupid you are if you want to get into this
Anyway,
one.
yeah, you are having problems keeping friends, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, it's the worst.
All right. Well, good.
Fucking Mark.
Hey, good night to both of you guys.
That's horrible.
Fair enough, son.
Later, man.
Good night to both of you guys.
Love you both.
Take care.
Later.
Bud.
All right.
Tune in each week to the making of a podcast for calling segments, for great guest segments, and the life championship top 10. Fuck all of you that don't.